Hi everyone, just arrived at La Rochelle. In about 5 minutes we're going to be going over that way or that way to look at our first boat of the morning, and then at lunchtime we have our second. We're going to video it all, take you all around, see what you think, leave your comments below on this one at the end of the video. Or
hi, and
yeah,
join us for the boat view.
Okay, let's get to it.
There is a life I lead in this city, hurrying to cut my teeth. I can take what I need to get by, it doesn't make it easy. The other piece of my heart moves slow, somewhere in the great unknown. When I return from the afterglow, will you carry me like I am whole again?
Oui. C'est un aérodable, donc dès qu'il va naviguer un petit peu le bateau, tout s'enlève aussitôt.
D'accord.
Voilà.
Take me back where I belong. I want it all. I had a feeling, but the feeling is all gone. Wait, hold on. Put me together. Take me back where I belong. I want it all. I had a feeling, but the feeling is all gone.
Hi everybody, this is our first look at the Beneteau 50. As you can see, just down along the side here we have the Genoa tracks, and I'm just about to hop up and we'll take a walk down the port side. All the standard rigging was changed 2 years ago when this present owner brought it back from Barcelona. It has nice high tow rails down each side of the boat. There is a total of 900 litres of water capacity on this boat and 1,000 litres of diesel. The windlass is in good working order, and you'll see there is a very large chain locker. The bow took a little bit of damage last year because this owner does actually do skipper charter out of La Rochelle, and there are a few repairs to be done. Taking a look from bow to stern, you can see that she's actually a very sizable boat with lots of handrails to get a hold of if need be. It's a 2 spreader mast with a spinnaker track on the front. The boat doesn't come with a spinnaker, but apparently it does have a code series, sorry. Coming aft, I just had a quick look at all the blocks. They're pretty cheap, something we would replace if we considered buying this boat. It is a very large boat, and knowing that it has had a charter history, you know, you have to sort of look further than skin deep. Taking a look around the mast, you'll see that the gooseneck is okay. We had a really good look at this on both sides. There was no real wear and tear. This particular owner has a few boats on charter, and he does actually take good care of his boats. Most of the lines apparently were replaced 2 years ago, but looking at the wear on them, we would believe that if we did purchase this boat, we'd actually replace the lines ourselves. The lazy bag was new last year, and they had a whole new bimini, which you'll see part of the spray hood is up. It does have a full bimini. That was all replaced last year, and the mainsail and genoa were also replaced last year. As you can see, it comes with a standard package. It has a bow thruster, Raymarine autopilot, and wind, speed, directional instruments. The engines are the engine starter, sorry, and so on. Engine controls are on the starboard side. The main primary Lumar winches by the helm. As I say, we're actually going to come back to this later, and Sarah's going to give you a walkthrough on the interior, and we'll catch up with the cockpit later and tell you why. So coming through the cockpit very quickly, you have 2 secondary winches up in the cockpit, and the port side is actually electric. Coming down into the boat.
So you'll see, first it's very light, spacious, a lot of very shiny wood everywhere. The sofas in the saloon have all been replaced, so the blue leather is brand new. It's aft-facing nav station with a 18-month-old recently installed B&G chart plotter. We like the position of the aft-facing chart table, but it's not our preference. We much prefer a forward-facing one.
Yeah, I don't like it at all, do I? Really, if I could. Yeah.
Going to the galley, it's an inline galley. Personally, I really like all the details in the woodwork. It's very homely, cosy, loads and loads of storage.
The only problem we found, they've replaced the cooling motors and so on for the fridge and the freezer because they were knackered. They're both top loading, there's no actual front access into the fridge, so whatever gets buried at the bottom will more likely stay at the bottom.
And if you look too, the lids weren't actually in line, they would need fixing or replacing.
The good thing is though, being an older boat, there is just phenomenal amount of storage everywhere. There's nothing left to waste, unlike we found with a lot of the brand new and modern boats, Beneteau and Bavaria. You know, it's more for minimalist than anything else.
The cooker, just pointing out, has put in 18 months ago, so it's brand new, still very shiny. Here we've got the starboard, I'll get that right.
Yeah, starboard double berth. It's actually a full-size double bed, and on the left-hand side, I'm a little bit annoyed I didn't get it into shot. On the left-hand side, you actually have access to the mast post. There's plenty of ventilation,
plenty of stowage in here, and you've got all the way forward a wet head, ensuite wet head, which is pretty awesome, with its own hatch for aeration. Hello!
Something else which we forgot to film at the time, we actually went back to the boat a second time that day. In front of the wet heads there's actually another hatch, and there's a skipper's cabin, which, you know, is great for extra sail storage, fenders, all that sort of stuff.
Or if you're fancy enough to have a skipper.
Well, yeah, if you're loaded, you know.
We're going through to the other side, so it's a reflection of the starboard side to the port side. So a very spacious bunk cabin to be in, with plenty of hatches and aeration and storage, with another wet head, which is identical, so we haven't showed you on this. The mattress is, by the way, very soft and comfortable with storage underneath.
The one thing we did think of is if we put in or purchase this boat or a boat like this, that there's loads of space for adding water makers, extra generators and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
As I said right at the beginning, there's loads of fuel storage and loads of water storage.
What he's saying there is, we noticed all the hatches are crazed. They are watertight, but he's going to change all the curtains and blinds on there. He's left them somewhere behind in his office, in a cupboard somewhere. He's just got to pop them on.
Looking in at the electrics here, the electrics are all in really good order. I'll say one thing for this guy, even though he charters them out, he's a pretty damn good mechanic. He's pretty good with electrics, and obviously Beneteau, they've got a big area at La Rochelle and La Rochelle and the Sardolon, so any spare bits. One thing we noticed, we spoke to him about solar panels and stuff, and there's extra conduit to be able to run cables through, so it'd be really easy.
And here we're looking at the keel bolts, which there's a bit of water in the bottom there, so we wondered if you'd given them a bit of a clean up, but either way there's only a tiny bit of rust around the edges, and you felt well, it looked really good when you looked at it, didn't you? Yeah,
they look pretty good and clean. The only thing we have issues with the engine, he's actually telling us how well it's been serviced and so on every year, but it's got over 4,500 hours on it. If this would be an issue for you for a 21-year-old boat, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, it'd be really good to hear your opinion. We feel this is a lot, and it could be a deal breaker for us.
Right, we're going to get back to the cockpit and let you know our thoughts on that.
tout est entretenu.
It's a really good day out boat shopping, isn't it? Bit of sunburn, burger. Found that we prefer a smaller boat than a bigger boat because it's clean.
So here we are, guys, on our new boat. Not yet. This is the first boat we looked at this morning, which is Beneteau 50, which we think is probably way too big for us. It's 1998, 1999 Beneteau 50. We've done some video. We're going to do some more, give you a look around. Hope it's not too shaky. We have issues with it, which will show you, i.e. like the teak in the cockpit needs redoing. The engine has, as far as I'm concerned, way too many hours on it. It's about 4,500 engine hours. Some of the winches are electric, most of them are manual. Not a big deal. Doesn't have a chart plotter, but does have autopilot, you know, and that sort of stuff. Anything you want to say?
Really surprised about the 3 boats we looked at. The bigger ones I thought would be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But it turns out we seem to prefer the smaller ones because they're clean and just simple, straightforward. Not so daunting for someone who's not sailed before to manage. I'm really surprised by that.
Yeah.
Really surprised.
Yeah.
And for 20,000 euros and the price of all 3, it's 3 very different boats.
Yeah.
Good. And a bit of sunburn to go with it.
And a bit of sunburn. So hold on to your hats.